back to Cork Stats here on the Mayo Media Network, presented by Jock MKT, the very best new daily app anywhere, where Wall Street meets Main Street meets 161st Street. It's your host, John Laghezza, the big dude with the big mouth from the Big Apple, coming to you worldwide from Brooklyn, New York, as always, coming out the chair, as always, getting ready for another day of the national pastime. As always, is this the best or what? If you like what we're doing, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Man, that Mayo Media Network is bringing the smoke, starring the big dude and you, the Cork Stats crew. If you're unfamiliar to what we're doing here, welcome aboard. We are just going to get you ready for everything. This is the ubiquitous profit baseball show. Everything that you could think of, we're going to do daily. We're doing fantasy, we're doing betting, and everything in between. Those are the three pillars of profit around here at MMN. And for the audio-only listeners, I see you. Rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. I know people like to digest this stuff on the way home from work while commuting, and that is just fine. I'm thinking of you as well. We're going to really try and focus on the games later on in the day when possible. I think the very first day I was giving out picks at 1 in the afternoon. People are listening to stuff that already happened, and yeah, I guess I look pretty smart if a bet is posted, but the game already happened. Well, not going to really be much help for you, and that's what we're all about. That actionable information. Yesterday's show, really good. 10 and 12 team, home league, waiver ads. Check that out. I know this is probably too much roto, too much 15-team, high-stakes league-centric information out there. That stuff is important, and I think if you understand it, it will help you succeed in smaller leagues. But yesterday was really focused on the home leaguers. Today, I wanted to do something a little bit different. We're going to focus on the daily slate, of course. But the fantasy section today, I want to look at the advanced stat leaderboard. I know it's small sets. We're going to be looking for some outliers. It's going to be a lot of fun. There are some names and stats that are just really kind of wonky this time of year. But, you know, that's just what it is. So let's jump in to daily. You know, of course, I pretty much have basically replaced standard DFS with Jock MKT outright, and the proof is in the pudding. I mean, listen, we did a tutorial on it. Check it out, but it's pretty easy to understand. DFS, you need 9 hits at a time in order to win. You either win all the monies or none of the monies. Most of the time you win none of the monies. In Jock MKT, you get the $100 match free. When I started, it was only a $20 promo. It's now up near $3,500. There is no jackpot. So it's a testament to me and you in the market every day, identifying values. So let's try and do just that. We've got the Pirates against Washington. Brubaker's been a bit of a home run machine in the past. 1.8 home runs per 9 with an 825 OPS against lefties. That's where we want to look. Queue up Nationals lefties. I have found, especially like I said, the content coming out early in the morning, it's going to be on the Vine all day. We're probably going to have lineup changes. We might even have pitching changes. You never know. So I want to try and give the information that will be the most useful for the biggest part of the day. So let's circle lefties on the Nats. That's Soto, that's Bell. We're even looking at Ruiz, and if the lineups come out and there is like another cheap lefty stuck in there, that's a player we want to get. Let me just give some numbers for Jock MKT, because I know we're getting lots of new players and I really do appreciate it. What happens is the very top player on the board returns $25 a share. Probably a good player goes for 5. An okay player goes for 3. Really good players go for 7, 8, 10, and above. But now think about that. To pay $10 for a player that needs to be the best on the board in order to return 25, it's only a 2.5 times return to be one of 100 players. Those odds are not very good. That's not how we're going to make money. We're going to be looking for the players in that $3, $4, $5 range that could finish up in the $18, $20 range, which we kind of do all the time, of course. Opportunities, plate appearances being at the center. So we just want to find guys that are playing. Look for lefties on the Nats to start there. My boy, Joanna Don, I'm kind of a big fan of his. I've been tracking him through the minors. I drafted him on my fantasy teams. I didn't know he was going to get a shot this early. He looked good. I think Pete Alonso smoked him. Hey, listen, man, giving up a bomb to the big polar bear is not that big of an issue for me. He has struggled with lefties, so we want to be looking at lefties on the Pirates. These I like in particular because they could be going off pretty cheap. We're going to be looking at Daniel Vogelbach and even Yoshi Susugo, and again, any other lefties that might be in the lineup. Now, a guy like Vogelbach is probably going to lead off. You might get him for $3.75. He hits a ding-dong or two. This guy's a chance to be the top player on the board. I know people always think it's going to be a superstar. That's not always the case. He doesn't even need to be the top hit if at he goes off for $3.50, let's say. I mean, this guy could just end up in the middle of the board, return $7 or $8, and it was a huge hit. And if you have other losses, the wins will help to float those. I mean, I could go on and on and on about why Jock Market makes so much more sense from a profit point of view than DFS. If you're looking for lottery tickets, go play DFS. I actually suggest that you play low entry GPPs anyway. Play a single entry every day and go for the home run. But if you're looking to really get paid and provide supplemental incomes, a thing that I do, right? I didn't start in content creation. I started in handicapping. I started in making money in this stuff. People said, hey, man, this guy actually makes money at this stuff. Let's hear what he has to say. So that's really should be at the center, sustainability and profiting, something I just wrote about at The Athletic if you want to check that out. It's very early in the season. People are wondering why I'm not betting all these crazy amounts. Because there's a method to the madness. My algorithm and yours, your model, if anything, whatever you're using to handicap, should be driven by data. We don't have any. Last year's data is fun, but those stats are only worth so much. So let's get back into the daily set here. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. So we have Zach Greinke with the Royals. He's back. Homer prone to righties as always. We're going to be looking for those Tiger righties. Give me Baez. Now, man, I'd love to recommend Javier Baez. He's probably going to be too expensive. So again, I always am very transparent, wear my L's and my W's on my sleeve. I do like Baez, but once he crosses that $7.50 threshold, I'll say thanks, but no thanks. He's a situation where maybe DFS does have the upper hand because it's not as sharp, right? Everybody could like Baez, so everybody gets Baez at the same price. In Jock Market, supply and demand take over, where even if we like a player, it begins to cost the player, the daily player, apples to apples dollars. So it really, the advantages for playing Jock Market just goes on and on and on. One of those punishing the chalk. So we're looking at Baez, maybe Scope, even Miggy. Now Scope and Miggy might be going off really cheap. Scope just hit a bomb. Remember, they come in bunches. So you may get Scope. I'd say Scope is like a $4.50 player. Anybody that I mention, let's call them $4.50 to $5. The better players, of course, will go north. I normally cap at $7.50. And the lower players, anything we can get below that $4 mark, man, and we think we're going to get quality at bats. That's how I've made my money in the Jock Market. And again, proof is in the pudding. I'm up like, I don't even know, 17,000% or something ridiculous like that. And, I just haven't had the monster day. It just hasn't been what it is. I'm picking up percentage points every single day. We're growing. I like to think about the Price is Right game with the yodeler. And the guy's got his little goat and he's clicking up. He never goes flying up the mountain. He's just always clicking up. And now put a bigger mouth on that guy, and that'd be me. All right, we got one more. No surprise here. Justin Steele and the Cubbies from the right side of the track in Chi-Town heading up into the altitude to meet the Rocks. Well, Steele looked really good his first time out. I don't think he's that good. I also don't think he's going to defeat Coors. So give me righties on Coors. We're looking at Cron, Elias Diaz, and Connor Joe. Now, again, whenever there's a game in Coors, the market is pretty much aware of it. But what I'd like to highlight is the cheap players then. I like to use the word backfill. We talk about that in DFS, backfilling the lineup where you may have spots. Backfill your portfolio with Coors. Any player in the lineup is worth $5. If anyone in the lineup on either side is going off for less than $5, you can buy a share safely with a pretty good positive expectation. And believe it or not, some of those players, because I get it, backup catchers could be out there. Diaz might not even be playing. You may get Nunez and no one's interested, but you pay for those guys, Coors being the spot. So that was really cool. That's the daily for today. I want to bring up the advanced stat leaderboard. You got to deal with me. It moves a little slow. All these things are really kind of custom and stuff like that. But I do think there is some interesting stuff to be found on these leaderboards. People often ask me about some of the stats that I quote. So I think we'll get to a little bit of that as well, right? The beginning of the season, yes, the games have started, but I don't think that the learning should ever stop. Okay, so I have Alex Chamberlain's pitch leaderboard up, which I suggest everybody go and get. It's free, although I believe he asked for a donation, whatever you can. If the donation is the problem, you hit me up. I will donate $2 or $5 in your name. That should not hold you back. It means that much to me to help you out. Money, I care less about money every day that I get older. All right, so I got this board up. Let's start with disciplinary stats. We're going to look at starting pitchers first, right? Just to look for some major advanced statistical outliers and, just see if anything kind of stands out. First place, really good spot to look is swinging strike rate, right? Something in the control of the pitcher, normally a really good metric, right? That kind of I don't know, crosses the spectrum, let's say. So we've got 4 pitchers so far with a 20% swinging strike rate. Carlos Rodon, Nate Eovaldi, Kevin Gausman, Kyle Hendricks. That one, a bit of an outlier. Didn't expect that. How about another Kyle ground baller right there at 19.5? Kyle Gibson. Then we see Lucas Giolito. Please hurry back soon. Shane McClanahan, Pablo Lopez, Robbie Ray. All what you'd expect. Ohtani, Montas. Now, I think that maybe makes what we've seen from Gibson and Hendricks even more impressive. Granted, it's a small set. Please keep an eye on Kyle Gibson. I believe he's been erroneously labeled a lead baller or kind of trash. I don't think he is. Let's keep going down. We're going to see some names that I really like. Logan Gilbert on that list, 16.5% swinging strike rate. Anything above 15 is very, very good. Give you another quick one. Quick rule of thumb. When you're trying to estimate K rate, now again, these are just a rule of thumb. It's not an exact science. You can double swinging strike rate to give you an idea of where the K rate might be. So that'll give why 15% swing strike rate doubled is 30, how that's elite. So 15% swing strike rate's elite. Down the list, Logan Gilbert, my boy Bailey Ober, Dylan Cease, Garrett Cole, Steven Matz, Merrill Kelly, Kyle Wright. Guys you've heard me mention. Even Raver San Martin is up there above 15%. People not sure he could get swings and misses. Now again, 1 or 2 starts does not a swing and miss pitcher make. However, you got to keep your eyes on this stuff if you want to be first. The market is extremely sharp. So there's some swing strike stuff, and I just really like to dive into these things. I want to dive into some contact stuff as well. Now, granted, there's been a lot of back and forth in the very intelligent baseball community about a pitcher's ability to control contact. Now, unfortunately, I've been on the side of the stupider people where I generally end up, but you know what? Doesn't stop me because I do not appeal to authority. Now, I do understand a pitcher doesn't wake up and allow hard contact, right? Nick Pivetta does not wake up tomorrow allowing hard contact. However, I believe hard contact is a function of poor control. A lot of the very detailed, granular work I've done backs that up. Aaron Nola is a pretty good example. He continually outperforms his peripherals because we're regressing fly balls that shouldn't be regressed. It's like a dead center target bullseye, and that's why they end up in the seat. So if you're going to throw meatballs, those are going to be home runs. And if you don't give up a lot of meatballs and you don't give up a lot of fly balls, you won't give up a lot. And the regression models will always tell us that you're, underperforming, I should say. So just be careful with that kind of stuff. I do think contact metrics matter a little bit. So let's go to everyone's favorite. We got expected WOBA, which is always really fun. There are some big names at the top of this list already. Jose Barrios, worst expected WOBA allowed in the league at 693. Other pitchers of note with extremely high ex-WOBAs. Now, these are pitchers that we probably don't want to overreact to, but it just gives you an idea of pitchers getting walloped right now. Jose Barrios, Marco Gonzalez, Nick Pivetta, Julio Arias, all at that 600 WOBA mark. Only Tyler Wells, Jordan Lyles, Antonio Senzatella above 500, but then Brandon Woodruff, Joanna Dunn, who I mentioned, up above 480, Steven Matz, Max Scherzer, Reed Detmers, there's San Martin, Ober, Casey Mize. Again, so I wanted to make sure that I showed you a mix of names just to give you an idea how contact metrics are not especially early on, not something to overreact to, but I do want to look at it. I think we're better off looking at the positives, right, than the negatives, because the positives are probably harder to achieve even in small samples. So before we get out of here, let's just check the CSW leaderboard. So it's called strikes plus whiffs, although it's actually pretty funny. I'm good friends with Alex Fast. He's a very good guy. You got to check all his stuff out at Pitcher List. He developed CSW, but it's actually kind of funny if you were to speak to him or take out the magnifying glass on CSW. It's actually not whiffs, they're actually swinging strikes, but it's the amount of called strikes and swinging strikes that a pitcher gets. Carlos Rodon at 50. Holy moly. Hachi, Machi, Liberace. Anything above 30 is the benchmark for being really good. Giolito, Rodon, Ohtani, Peralta, McClanahan, Cease, San Martin, Eovaldi. See how this is the top of the leaderboard? And like I said, it's very hard to fool. There really aren't any outliers. So there's Kyle Gibson with Tyler Mahle, Kyle Gausman, Hunter Green, Logan Gilbert, Robbie Ray, Bailey Ober. That was just the top of the leaderboard, name for name. So keep those names that maybe you didn't expect just in the front of your mind. If you're in a more shallow league, I would absolutely be adding Bailey Ober, Alex Cobb, Reed Detmers. Get those guys on your squad. So that'll do it for the fantasy section. A little bit of the advanced leaderboard, some guys to look out for, maybe some overperformers. Check it out. Every day we'll be doing a fantasy section that I hope will help you win leagues. I'm just going to read you what happened yesterday. You have access to the box score. You're really tuning into this for the nuance and the context. Let's do just some more of that before we get out of here with the thing that is so very near and dear to my heart, which is betting on baseball. Boy, do I love to bet. And if you're listening to Mayo Media Net, then you do too. I really appreciate the quality of character and content of the people that are in the comments. All very nice people. The questions I get are all very astute, and I intend to answer every one of them. We've been around flat for the year, which I guess is fine. I think we're doing a little bit better than flat. We're actually in the black because we hit the daily parlay yesterday. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, Patty Mayo, the GOAT, was nice enough to allow me to offer you access to my betting work. It's free right now, 100% free, no shills here. That's not how I roll. There is a tip jar if you want to help to keep the lights on, and I promise every dollar is going to be going back into the production. If you've noticed, I went from hanging a ragged sheet to 4K cameras at HD with, some brand new Yankee jigs, you know what I'm saying? So let's get into the betting board. You can check that stuff out, MLB Moving Averages on Twitter. I also have a Patreon page, MLB Moving Averages, but it's free. It's purely to host, 100% free. We're doing starting pitcher matrix, the daily picks, a breakdown of every game, strategy plus risks, daily starting pitcher rankings, implied team totals, a home run tracker, and Jock Marketplace. There literally is not anything else anywhere that I think matches that, and that's including stuff behind the paywall. So thank you, Patty Mayo, for allowing me the platform to help all you out. Now let's dive into this betting board real quick. I found it maybe a little more helpful, I found, to have feedback from the listeners rather than just give a bet, to kind of work my way through the board. I've really enjoyed that. Now again, it looks like I'm getting ready to step on the rake again with the Mariners. Love the Mariners and Logan Gilbert. They're at even money against the White Sox and Jimmy Lambert. Yesterday, I thought we had the pitching edge, Robbie Ray over Dallas Keuchel. However, I did have a listener get up in my comments and tell me to be careful because of the weather. He was right. I did not pull the pick, and I should have. That weather was gross. That game should probably not have even been played. But I'm going back to the well. Lambert is not any good. I know the Mariners' bats haven't really been, but we shouldn't need much. Logan Gilbert against the White Sox, who can hit, but Eloy is down. You remove a piece like Eloy, that lineup takes a pretty precipitous step back. So give me the Mariners F5. I also think they pull this one out to win. We've got a really good one in St. Louis when Wainwright faces Woodruff. I'm probably going to fade this one outright. I know a lot of times people have heard me say that I will take that plus half run first five. I think Woodruff is going to bounce back in a major way. Milwaukee had a big win last night late in the game. I think I'm going to probably avoid that, but we want to watch that one. This is the one that I also really like, the Phillies and Kyle Gibson going to Miami and Sandy Alcantara. Now, of course, we're going to be the underdog, but to get that Philly offense as an underdog with a guy like Gibson who should handle the Marlins the way he's looked, give me the Phillies. I think they win it outright, but I think we get the F5 for sure. And if we get your hands on the plus half run when the F5 lines come out, you want to do that. Lots of books don't have them posted yet, but the underdog will most likely have, the plus 5 runs. Sometimes I guess they're listed as a pick'em. So keep your eye on the Phillies. I like them to win, but I definitely like them for the F5. There were a couple more. Kevin Gausman in the Blue Jays against the Severino and the Yankees. I've been kind of digging these and just getting with the underdog. This is another one listed at 8.5. The public has been chasing these numbers down. If this one gets to 8 again, go over. That was my bet last night that we hit in the daily parlay. We've got the Angels and Ohtani going to Rangers and Dane Dunning. Gotta like the Angels. Anytime I see minus 130 on the board for Ohtani versus Dunning, give me the Angels. Now, I generally don't pay a lot of juice. I might work that into a parlay, but definitely give me the Angels to win. One last one maybe before we get out of here. This one cannot say no to. It's the Braves and Uncle Chuck, Charlie Morton, even money against the Padres and Joey Musgrove. You gotta like I think Morton is greater than signed Musgrove. I think the Braves are greater than signed Padres. Morton should be a favorite with the Braves in San Diego. Keep an eye on that one. Remember, it is listed at even money. So the reason that matters so much to me, because I don't bet money lines. Now, granted, price matters. It's very, very important. But like $5 on the line, minus 105 to minus 110 is not enough to say I'm not betting that. The problem with having a game flip from pick to underdog or underdog to favorite, vice versa, is when we lose that plus half run. So I want to make sure that I hit this one early. I generally wait for lineups to come out, but that one I want to get fast. If I can get Atlanta at minus 135 or better, even minus 140 would be the absolute outlier. Give me that half run so I can keep it tied through 5, and I really think we're going to cash that one. We've been doing very well on the first 5 run lines. It's really been the place where I butter my bread, finding pitching matchups. Yesterday we had Oakland and Frankie Montas. I got a lot of pushback on that. How could you go up against McClanahan and the Rays? Well, we dogged them 3-zip and put some money in our pocket. So I think that'll do it, everybody, for the show today. Cork Stats, powered by Mayo Media Net, presented by Jock Market. Download the app for free. $100 matched. If it's free, it's for me. Hop on Twitter, MLB Moving Averages. I already have the matrix up. We're going to run the algo shortly. The picks are coming. You get pricing. You get strategies. You get a write-up. You get the home run tracker. You're going to get SP rankings and implying totals, and it's free. Every single penny, if you want to donate, only what and if you can, goes back into the program. You have my word. So we have some daily stacks, right? We want to be looking at, we had Nats up today. We want to be looking at Nationals, lefties, Pirates, lefties, Tigers, righties, Rockies, righties, though basically anybody in cores. We went through fantasy and some stat leaderboards. Please keep an eye on Kyle Gibson. If he is an ace again today, you're probably not going to be able to add him, right? So maybe make a trade. I mean, I think if you lowball a trade today, I think you get a Kyle Gibson trade done. The owner currently will think like, wow, I sold high on Kyle Gibson. I think there's a bit more. Plus, we're in the age of shortened outings. Kyle Gibson is one of the handful of pitchers that I could see getting us to 200 innings. So that'll do it for Big Johnny Stud and Cork Stats, Mayo Media Net. Download Jock Market, MLB Averages, Moving Averages. Man, is this crazy or what? We're 1 week in. Expect the energy level to stay at the red line all the way through the spring, all the way through the summer till the weather starts getting cool, because this is what we do. 115 off the crack of the bat. Man, I really love you people. I really do appreciate your time. Mine is so very precious, and I talk so fast that I try and treat yours the same. Yo, enjoy the games. Enjoy your day, and when we're done with the book, enjoy that pay, everybody. Man, I catch this on the flip side. Tell me not. When you work this hard, it just feels a lot less like luck, don't it? Peace.